Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nautilus Art and Creativity. My name, as always, is Joseph, and if you're here with me today, I appreciate you coming by. But this video is not what you think it's going to be. You see, while I am creating an art piece that I have titled Monument to the Gods, I'm not going to be doing my normal commentary where I read my story. No, in fact, this is part 2 on This Is Your Fault and You Must Pay For It Now. Because my subscriber to not subscribed ratio is in a tragic, it's just so extreme because my subscribers have decided not to watch my videos. Well, you're all being punished with Jupiter facts. Now, the last video, the Minecraft Creative Episode 3, I did Saturn facts. But this time, ladies and gentlemen, no, I've decided to talk about the biggest planet in our solar system, Jupiter. And I hope you're all here for the road. Now, if you never want this stuff to happen again, you know what you have to do. You have to subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, smash that bell icon, do all that stuff, grab some merch, link in the description to the merch, and help support me. Your support keeps me from doing boring shit like this, where I talk about planets. Now, I love planets, but you probably don't. Or you don't think them as interesting as I do, or interesting enough to even do something like this. Well, we're on a different tangent today, folks. So I hope you guys are ready. I'm on Wikipedia, as always. Don't think I need to link the Wikipedia to Jupiter, but here we are. Let's get all good on this one. Ready? Jupiter is the 5th planet from the Sun and the largest in the solar system. It is a gas giant with a mass 1,000th that of the Sun, but 2.5 times that of all the other planets in the solar system combined. Impressive information. Jupiter is one of the brightest objects visible to the naked eye in the night sky, and has been known to ancient civilizations since before recorded history. It is named after the Roman god Jupiter. When viewed from Earth, Jupiter can be bright enough for its reflected light to cast shadows, and is on average the 3rd brightest natural object in the night sky after the Moon and Venus. Interesting information. Subscribe so I don't have to do this ever again. Let's continue on with some facts. Let's see here. Jupiter is primarily composed of hydrogen, with 1/4 of its mass being helium, though helium comprises only about 1/10 of the number of molecules. Interesting. May also have a rocky core of heavier elements, but like the other giant planets, Jupiter lacks a well-defined solid surface. Because of its rapid rotation, the planet's shape is that of an oblate spheroid. It has a slight but noticeable bulge around the equator. The outer atmosphere is visibly segregated into several bands at different latitudes, resulting in turbulence and storms along the interacting boundaries. A prominent result is the Great Red Spot, a giant storm that is known to have existed since at least the 17th century. When it was first seen by telescope, there you go. Surrounding Jupiter is a faint planetary ring system and a powerful magnetosphere. Jupiter has 79 known moons, including the 4 large Galilean moons discovered by Galileo Galilei in 1610. Ganymede, the largest of these, has a diameter greater than that of the planet Mercury. Impressive information. Unbelievable. Pioneer 10 was the first spacecraft to visit Jupiter, making its closest approach to the planet on December 4th, 1973. Pioneer 10 identified plasma in Jupiter's magnetic field, and also found that Jupiter's magnetic tail was nearly 800 million kilometers long. Wow. Covering the entire distance to Saturn. Ooh, boy, that's impressive stuff. Subscribe so you never have to hear this again. Jupiter has been explored on a number of occasions by robotic spacecraft, beginning with the Pioneer and Voyager flyby missions from 1973 to 1979, and later by the Galileo orbiter, which arrived at Jupiter in 1995. In late February 2007, Jupiter was visited by the New Horizons probe, which used Jupiter's gravity to increase its speed and bend its trajectory en route to Pluto. Interesting information. The latest probe to visit the planet is Juno, which entered into orbit around Jupiter on July 4th, 2016. Ooh, speaking of July 4th, tomorrow is the 4th of July. So I hope you guys have a very beautiful 4th of July celebration where you subscribe to my channel, eat some burgers and hot dogs, like my videos, have fun with your family, just sit down, just chill with your family, and of course, hit that bell icon and grab some merch while you're at it. Wear your merch on 4th of July if you haven't yet. Future targets for exploration in the Jupiter system include the probable ice-covered liquid ocean of its moon Europa. Interesting. Let's see. I'm going to take a little chocolate milk break. I got a little Nesquik double chocolate milk right here. Delicious. Alright. Back to the fun. Little chocolate milk mustache. We continue on, ladies and gentlemen. Astronomers have discovered 701 planetary systems with multiple planets. Regularly, these systems include a few planets with masses several times greater than Earth's, super-Earths they're called, orbiting closer to their star than Mercury is to the Sun, and sometimes also Jupiter-mass gas giants close to their star. Earth and its neighbor planets may have formed from fragments of planets after collisions with Jupiter destroyed those super-Earths near the Sun. Interesting. As Jupiter came toward the inner solar system, in what theorists call the Grand Tag Hypothesis, gravitational tugs and pulls occurred, causing a series of collisions between the super-Earths as their orbits began to overlap. Researchers from Lund University, good university, I've known that place for years, no I haven't, found that Jupiter's migration went on for around 700,000 years, in a period approximately 2 to 3 million years after the celestial body started its life as an ice asteroid far from the Sun. Interesting information. The journey inwards in the solar system followed a spiraling course in which Jupiter continued to circle around the Sun, albeit in an increasingly tight path. The reason behind the actual migration relates to gravitational forces from the surrounding gases in the solar system. Interesting stuff. Jupiter moving out of the inner solar system would have allowed the formation of inner planets, including Earth. However, the formation timescales of terrestrial planets resulting from the Grand Tag Hypothesis appear inconsistent with the measured terrestrial composition. Moreover, the likelihood that the Grand Tag actually occurred in the solar nebula is quite low. Interesting stuff. I've never actually learned about that before. You don't learn about the Grand Tag Hypothesis in school. Yeah, you know what it is. If you're not subscribed, you're not going to learn this information. Jupiter is composed primarily of gaseous and liquid matter. It is the largest planet in the solar system. It has a diameter of 142,984 kilometers, or 88,846 miles, at its equator. The average density of Jupiter, 1.326, gallons per cubic centimeter? Or something, I don't know what G's is the second highest of the giant planets, but lower than those of the 4 terrestrial planets. Let's look at its composition, shall we, folks? Jupiter's upper atmosphere is about 88 to 92% hydrogen and 8 to 12% helium by percent volume of gas molecules. A helium atom has about 4 times as much mass as a hydrogen atom, so the composition changes when described as the proportion of mass contributed by different atoms. Thus, Jupiter's atmosphere is approximately 75% hydrogen and 24% helium by mass, with the remaining 1% of the mass consisting of other elements. The atmosphere contains trace amounts of methane, water vapor, ammonia, and silicon-based compounds. There are also traces of carbon, ethane, hydrogen sulfide, neon, oxygen, phosphine, and sulfur. I'm really good at naming the elements for some reason. I'm really good at reading them. And if you don't want to read them anymore, if you don't want to listen to them anymore, you got to subscribe, folks. Come on, let's go. I don't want to be doing this forever. The outermost layer of the atmosphere contains crystals of frozen ammonia. Ooh, interesting. Through infrared and ultraviolet measurements, trace amounts of benzene and other hydrocarbons have also been found. The interior contains denser materials. By mass, it is roughly 71% hydrogen, 24% helium, and 5% other elements. Interesting stuff. The atmospheric proportions of hydrogen and helium are close to the theoretical composition of the primordial solar nebula. Neon in the upper atmosphere only consists of 20 parts per million by mass, which is about a tenth as abundant as in the Sun. Helium is also depleted to about 80% of the Sun's helium composition. This depletion is a result of precipitation of these elements into the interior of the planet. Pretty interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I kind of like that. It's pretty cool. Based on spectroscopy, Saturn is thought to be similar in composition to Jupiter, but the other giant planets, Uranus and Neptune, have relatively less hydrogen and helium and relatively more ices, and are thus now termed ice giants. Interesting stuff. Oh boy, subscribe so I never have to say that again. I apologize about that. Continuing on, ladies and gentlemen. Jupiter's mass is 2.5 times that of all the other planets in the solar system combined. This is so massive that its barycenter with the Sun lies above the Sun's surface at 1.068 solar radii from the Sun's center. Jupiter is much larger than Earth and considerably less dense. Its volume is that of about 1,321 Earths, but it is only 318 times as massive. Jupiter's radius is about a tenth the radius of the Sun, and its mass is about 0.001 times the mass of the Sun. So the densities of the two bodies are similar. A Jupiter mass is often used as a unit to describe masses of other objects, particularly extrasolar planets and brown dwarfs. So, for example, the extrasolar planet HD 209458b has a mass of 0.69, whatever the MJ stands for, Jupiter masses, while Kappa Andromeda b has a mass of 12.8 Jupiter masses. Interesting information. 12. We're getting there, folks. You won't have to listen to this for so much longer, especially if you subscribe, like the video, hit that like button, the bell icon, do all the stuff, the merch. Get me going. Help me out here, folks. I don't want to keep doing this. Theoretical models indicate that if Jupiter had much more mass than it does at present, it would shrink. Interesting. For small changes in mass, the radius would not change appreciably. And above about 500 or 1.6 Jupiter masses, the interior would become so much more compressed under the increased pressure that its volume would decrease, despite the increasing amount of matter. As a result, Jupiter is thought to have about as large a diameter as a planet of its composition and evolutionary history can achieve. Oh, so it's like right at the perfect size for itself. That's pretty cool. Interesting. The process of further shrinkage with increasing mass would continue until appreciable stellar ignition was achieved, as in high-mass brown dwarfs having around 50 Jupiter masses. Interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting stuff. Although Jupiter would need to be about 75 times as massive to fuse hydrogen and become a star, the smallest red dwarf is only about 30% larger in radius than Jupiter. Despite this, Jupiter still radiates more heat than it receives from the Sun. The amount of heat produced inside it is similar to the total solar radiation it receives. This additional heat is generated by the Kelvin-Helmholtz mechanism, through contraction. This process causes Jupiter to shrink by about 2 centimeters each year. When it was first formed, Jupiter was much harder and was about twice its current diameter, so it was even bigger than that? Holy moly. Another chocolate milk break. Subscribe. Delicious. Love Nesquik double chocolate milk. This is my favorite thing. Let's see here. How are we looking? We're actually... we almost got to the internal structure, but it looks like we got about a minute left. So I'm just going to stop it right there. I hope you guys enjoyed this little factoid adventure about Jupiter. I know I had a damn good time reading it because, well, I'm sure it bored the ever-living crap out of you. And I guarantee you that no one at all is going to be paying attention to this video. So, if you are paying attention and you can prove you're paying attention, name one of the facts that I just said about Jupiter in the comments below. It'll be a little test to see who actually gives a crap about my channel. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have a beautiful day. And I will see you on the Flippity Flop. Nautilus out.